According to reports, the House of Representatives have asked the federal government to introduce mandatory drug tests in all secondary schools in the country. The bill was sponsored by none other, Honorable Moshood Oshun, who says substance abuse among young people is fast becoming a global public health concern and gradually leading to health complications, including disorders and drug dependence and death. Okay, we have the man himself join us now on the show, the man who sponsored the bill, Honorable Moshood Oshun, and the spokesperson of the NDLA, hopefully sometime later on, Mr. Femi Babafemi, will be speaking to us remotely on this proposal. Welcome to the show, sir. It's good to have you here.
Good morning.
Good morning. When we hear things like this, they are sponsoring the bill to be taking mandatory tests, we're thinking, our children. Why would they do that to our children? But what informed this decision or this proposal in the House?
Well, once again, thank you. Good morning. Funnily, this morning, I woke up to a text from one of my constituents sending me a message that we need to do something about it. And she actually sent me a video of somebody struggling on the floor, you know, and he said it was on Colos. I have about 3 or 4 videos that were sent to me this morning. I don't know what Colos is, but it's one of the drugs.
Colorado.
Well,
wow.
It's one thing that, it knocks them out. They become senseless. This motion was, I represent the Gospel and Federal constituency. And in that constituency, I have the highest concentration of high institutions in Nigeria. That's the highest. You have Unila, Yabatek, and the rest. When you walk around that constituency every day, what you see is not palatable. It's highly unfortunate. When I was growing up, when you talk of drugs, the first thing that comes to your mind is cannabis. Then it moves into cocaine. But now you have so many things, from Colorado to gum to so many things, tramadol and so on. And unfortunately, in the olden days, when you talk of drugs, you look at people in their 30s, in their 40s. Now you have boys as little as 10 on drugs in primary school, in secondary school. Some years back, when my son was going to secondary school and I was scouting for school, there's a secondary school in Lagos that I was told not to touch with a bike pole because the court in that school is worse than the court in universities. Yeah? Yes, in Lagos. So it means that there's a problem. And until we resolve that problem, because everybody keeps talking about the economy, about our leadership, but we are not looking at the foundation. And we need to go back to that foundation, because either we like it or not, if you have a 12-year-old who is on drugs, he will come out of secondary school, going to university, and is going to be the leader of tomorrow.
Honorable sir, go ahead.
Yes. So what would this do in curbing this problem? What would this bill do?
Well, the first thing we want to do is to identify who is on drugs and help you. People think it's punitive. It's not. It's to help you. So if, for example, you know that you're going to be randomly tested or you're going to be mandatorily tested in school, there's every tendency you might not do it. But even if you decide to do it, if you decide to go on drugs, we'll identify it at early stage and help.
Honorable Oshun, the cost of this test. You know, I took this story last week and I was like, share the money for Tesla Nini or the money to, help. What exactly, because I see the cost long term. So we test the children at a particular cost. We then have to be forced to, because we can't just review the situation and then leave it like that. So we have to deal with it. Them. So there's also another cost for that as well. So which cost should we carry first?
I don't think the cost should be important to us. Honestly, I don't think we should be looking at the cost. Because at the end of the day, we are looking at the future of this country. Everybody keeps talking about the youth are the leader of tomorrow. So if we have ruined leaders from day one, then we are going to have ruined leaders. We have ruined youth, sorry. We are going to have ruined leaders. Yeah. So I don't think because, and let's look at it from this angle. If you're talking about the cost, okay, if somebody is on Colorado and he decides he can't afford that Colorado, he's going to steal. Steal from who? You and I. So if you think, oh, my son is okay, my children are okay.
Honorable, let me come in here some here. Because it's not every day we have honorables in our midst. Whenever we have it like this, it's good for us.
Invite us, we'll come.
So, because every single time in my head, I'm thinking, for me, what you just said, you said something earlier, that we need to go back to the foundation. And I was thinking in my head, what exactly is the foundation? Because I worry that we're not attacking it at the foundation. What I think would help this solution, or help fix this problem, is attacking those who are bringing these drugs in. where there are harder laws, because if those kids don't have access to those things, they will do other things. They'll be useful in different ways. So I've always tried to advocate that we need laws, maybe an executive order, to start beheading people.
Yeah.
The reason is because NDLA is working around the clock to bust these guys who are bringing these drugs in, arresting them every day. They take pictures and put them in prison. Somehow, if there's a break, there's a jail break, and they're back in the streets. Or they know somebody, they rob somebody, and they get out.
Short sentences.
So they're short sentences. So they are out there. When you catch somebody and you have evidences, as a lawmaker, don't you think it would be more productive for us to begin to start taking some serious, drastic measures that the children know they won't have access to, because the supplier is no more supplying. They have beheaded his oga.
Well, there are two sides to every coin. The first side is, like I said, let's catch them young. Let's see what we can do to them. If you're talking about the dealers, look, the dealers, in any country in the world, there will be people that will break the law. So no matter what you do, some people should take the risk. There was a time in this country that drug dealers were being killed.
Yeah.
Was this three? By Babangida? No, by Buhari and Diagbon. But that did not stop them from still doing the deal. That's number one. Our law today is predictive enough. It's for us to make the law. It's for the judiciary to interpret the law. So if, for example, we say, okay, the option is either life jail or beheading or shooting. If the judiciary decides that, okay, we're going to give life jail or something, we can't do anything about it. That's number one. But either we like it or not, if you bring something in, we keep talking about those bringing these drugs in. There are some drugs they don't need to bring in. Okay, like the sewage. They use the sewage. How do you stop that?
How?
The sewage. They use gum. How do you stop that? Some time ago, I used to be a prison officer, and we realized that a mixture of some things, I don't want to mention it on here, some fruits, mix them together, leave them for 3-4 days, is even more potent. Is more potent than cocaine. Wow. And they are fruits. So basically, we need to understand the fact that we must do everything to help. Yes, we must do everything to help this society. And for us to help this society, we're all involved. Well, you see, it's easy for us to keep blaming somebody. We shift the blame. But let's search ourselves. We all have a role to play.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I hear you, and I understand that the universities are being, a lot of the universities within the area, people are taking advantage of drugs. But I also feel that the advocacy should be stronger than just testing, because the fund for test and the fund for advocacy, if we weigh the options, supporting NDLEA to create more advocacy platform might be a better framework to achieve what you want to achieve within that area, or supporting NGOs to create the same thing, because we cannot do random sampling. There are people that will go through that entire environment and will never touch drugs, despite the fact that it's prevalent around them. But if we are concentrating on those that we see are already using or are in areas where they use, oh gosh, I just remembered something that Olumide mentioned. He said the spirit of the addiction always provides for the addiction, that people would land in a place because they are addicted, they will get what they need. And you can live in that same area and you've never seen where they sell whatever hard drugs. So there are clusters of these places where these things are prevalent. How about we create a law that supports interventions for those areas, as opposed to just saying, oh, we're testing everybody that comes into this university because we want to prevent drug abuse?
There is no area that is exempted. Don't let us deceive ourselves. There is no area. If you live in Ikoyi, for example, and you think, oh, it's an elite area, someone that's on drugs in Abuja or in Bariga or in Ekpaja, who needs money to buy drugs, will come to Ikoyi to steal, and in the process will kill in Ikoyi. So there is no area that is exempted. If you think, oh, I live in a gated estate, there is no way you are protected. That's number one. And if you feel, oh, my son will not do this, my son, it will affect you one way or the other. Yesterday, there was something that was sent to me on Ikorodu Road. The woman was driving, and somebody climbed on a car and started stabbing. Yeah? Yes. So there is no way you are protected. Drug is a menace that we must curb. And to curb that drug, all hands must be on deck. I don't want us to even think about the cost. We keep talking about the cost. Let's forget about the cost. This is our future. The future of Nigeria is these youths you are talking about. And these youths, are we saying there's a cost to their well-being? I don't think so.
I don't even think that the cost is really about, I think it's more about sustainability than how much it costs. That's one. And second, let me tell you what I feel a little bit uncomfortable with this bill. I like the idea, but for me, it seems like it's just a point to a user bill. So I've pointed him out. Then what? Is there something I'm missing? Maybe there's more to it that shows how it will take you from pointing this person out to rehabilitation, to finding down through the value chain who the kingpin is. That, that's what I would like to. How robust is this beyond pointing them out?
It's in the motion. In the first place, we are looking at helping the person. In the second place, we are looking at helping the society. In the third place, we are looking at even stopping those that, if you're thinking about it. The advocacy, it's something, like you said, the House Committee on Information must start that advocacy. We've asked the ministry to start the advocacy, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, NDLA, start the advocacy. So start talking to Nigerians, start bringing out videos showing the effects of if you take drugs, what will be the effect.
Okay.
When I was young, they would tell you, just touching drugs, you will not mad. Or my friends would tell my sisters, if you allow a man to just hold you, you will get pregnant. There was that fear. So we need to bring that back. And parents, you see, if, for example, when I was young, in my father's house, you can never smoke, you can never drink. But if as a parent, you stay with a 10, 12-year-old, you are smoking, you are drinking, and you think there's nothing wrong with it, students don't themselves, children don't listen to what we say. They listen to what we do. They watch what we do and they want to replicate it outside. So for them, if my father can do it, my brother can do it, why can't I do it? It's not what you say. So you can tell them, oh, don't smoke. It's very bad. But they see you smoking. They see you smoking in the house. They will do it.
So, Dr. Oshun, she's a psychologist, was here on the show once, and she said a child who mistakenly takes alcohol before they're 20 would most likely use drug. And she gave a percentage, I don't know, 60-40 of those children who do that. So just because you mentioned the parents now, some parents say, I don't do drugs, but I just take alcohol, and they leave the remnant at the bottom of the bottle for the child to take the bottle away. The child tests it, and we are at risk. Advocacy is beyond just testing. It is, taking the entire chain and putting it in their faces. Billboards, TV stations, and all of that. I think, does this bill also capture that extent of our advocacy, or just focusing on testing secondary school students?
Well, in the first place, what we're talking about today is not even a bill. It's a motion. That's number one. Number two, it's a motion empowering Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Education, Information, to start talking to our students.
Okay.
That's the first one. Number two is to try and identify who has that problem.
Okay.
Number three is to try and help those who has those problems.
Okay.
Number four is to make sure that if you are caught with this, if, for example, a student is caught on drugs or taking drugs, we want you to take us to where you bought it from, who sold it to you, who gave it to you. And in the process, look at the chain of supply. And in the course of the chain of supply, we need to know who the kingpin is, who is the drug dealer, who is the baron. Yeah. Not even just somebody selling on the street. Because in most cases, you have these scapegoats on the street that they just give it to go and sell. They are not the baron. They don't have anything.
Yeah.
But the person behind you, the person giving it to you, is it the person importing it or it too? So we want to go towards that line and make sure that we eliminate even your source of supply.
All right. Okay. Let me take Clement. I'm calling the whole day from Shango Tedo. Shangota.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Clemens. Go ahead, please. Sangwata.
Hello.
You're live.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You are live. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I support what you said. Hello, I support what you said concerning beheading, killing, or doing anything. But your guest is trying to dodge that area. I believe if a drastic measure is taken concerning a drug peddlers and whatever, like it happened during former President Buhari and Idiagbo, I think it curtailed it. People became afraid. So let there be a very drastic action. Like, that's my contribution, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Clement. And he has responded that there are multi levels of fixing this problem. It doesn't. One way is not always the right way, but we can always
have to look at the
different.
We're not at the level of Malaysia. Malaysia, they had to go very drastic because they were dealing with, it was like an epidemic. It was happening everywhere. We are at that level, Abi.
Yeah, so so we need to consider something.
Yes, I think some of us are in a bubble that we don't know what is going on or how bad it is. But I remember Auntie Annie has spoken about these things a few times. Like this, the agencies, the police, they know where these people are. So is that do we have a system to rehabilitate? Because it's not just about carrying them out. It's not about just arresting them or seizing the supply. These people are dealing. It's no longer like a crime. Their actions will result in a crime, but in itself they are addicted. So how do we take someone that is currently addicted and take them through a process that turns them into responsible citizens within the country? So we're dealing with that, and then we're preventing other young Nigerians from emulating such people.
Well, that was why I said it's an holistic process. We are not just trying to identify the users. What can we do to help? That is very important, because there's no point in identifying, you take drugs and let you go home. There must be a process of helping you. Okay, is it through the hospital? Is it through the psychiatric hospital? Because we have so many people now who we think are normal, but who are not normal. So there must be a process. But you see, on the issue of police, I don't want to generalize, because in as much as we have some bad police, we have some very beautiful police who are doing very well. So I don't want to paint all of them with one brush. Okay. But we know, as a matter of fact, that some of them look at these drug dealers and they are a source of mail to them, because they know where to go there and collect their money. I'll give you an example. In my constituency, there's a place, and somebody brought my attention to it one day, and I walked there around 7 o'clock in the evening, and I saw young boys and girls almost naked, who is gone, who doesn't know where she was, guys rolling on the floor. And I had to call the DP of Cyber. Look, listen, this place must be cleared. And I must tell you, in 24, 30 minutes, the place was cleared. So people were arrested. People were arrested, and we went through the whole hog. I don't want to discuss that because they're still working on that. But we have policemen that you
can be done.
It can be done, definitely.
Let me take this call from Hadiza, calling from Jos. Thanks for calling, Hadiza.
Thank you. I want to ask you, this testing of students and other things, who is going to school for it? Is it government or is it personal?
Can you hear?
I didn't get that.
Say that again. We didn't get that. Who's going to bear the cost?
Is it government that going to sponsor it?
Okay, is it government that's going to sponsor it? Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, government's going to handle that, not private.
No.
And someone is also asking how often would this happen?
Well, we are looking at two things. One, the mandatory, if you want to get admission into school, or at the beginning of every semester or something. Yes. But we want to introduce random. So when you're even coming to school, you're not even sure you can be picked. It doesn't have to be every 3 months or every 6 months. If, for example, the Federal Ministry of Education decides that, okay, we are facing social school in Kaduna today, and it's going to be random. Nobody knows they are coming. Even the principal will not know. Even the principal and teachers of that school will not know. They just walk in and say,
so if they arrest a child that I know, because those are, this is Nigeria. So is that process that is still unclear? Because ideas are great. We love the ideas. But you now arrest Mr. John's friend, like you're Mr. John.
Yes.
Your friend's son was arrested.
Yes.
And Mr. John calls, please call the police to get my son out of that place. It's the same process. What's the next step? I will get to the police station. Do they detain you there or do they transfer you? What exactly is the process?
If, for example, Mr. John's son is found guilty or is on any substance, the next step is refer Mr. John's son to the hospital.
To rehab.
Is it rehab? Is
hospital,
it just...
I don't have space.
Look, this one, like I said, is going to be a special case. It's not a case of I have malaria and go to lawsuit and there's no bed. If, for example, you walk into a school and 50 students or 30 students are found to have substance in their body. Look, we have footballers...
Sorry to cut you, just to add to what you're already explaining is, what part has NDLEA played so far in this motion, and what part will they be playing as you carry out this?
Well, the case of NDLEA, we don't want, in that motion, I've not included NDLEA in that motion. Okay. And my reason being that we have Ministry of Education, we have Ministry of Health, we have Ministry of Information. Those are the three bodies we want to work together. Information to keep talking to Nigerians, to keep talking to parents, to keep enlightening them that, look, if you see this sign, these are the signs. If your son is doing this, if your daughter is doing this, so let them start telling us. So most of us don't even know what signs to look out for. You have your daughter that walks in and sat down somewhere, not talking to anybody or anything. Oh, maybe she's tired. No, investigate why she's tired.
I have a caller. Mr. Muyiwa, I believe. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you all. Good morning, Nima. Good morning to every one of you.
Good morning.
I want to make a remark in respect of my former colleague, Honorable Oshun. I want to make a remark in respect of what he's saying. To me, problem is like a plant that's roots. We need to tackle it from the roots in order to address it fundamentally. However, that's because of it.
We lost that call. You see, let me show you where I'm a bit unclear.
Okay.
So we still take this child to the hospital, as you said. So there are 20, 30 of them. And they get to the hospital, they see them, they flush it out. Maybe they're there for 2-3 weeks where they could undergo rehab. Then they're back into school and the same factors still remain. The supplier is still there providing.
It's still the same
friends,
school.
peer pressures are there. People say, still use this thing. And then they reuse it again. The cycle continues because we have not dealt with the root cause of the problem. Either the dealers bringing into the schools, the suppliers, there's still a bigger problem. So it's one thing to say, I'm testing you, taking to the hospital, which you have done. But the long term, how to make it sustainable, which is what she said earlier, is still unclear to us.
That was why I said, if somebody is found guilty, we want to know where he got it from. That's number one. So by knowing, okay, somebody at the gate sold it to me,
okay,
then the school knows that we need to man the gate. Well, if that guy at the gate is arrested, who gave it to you? There's a process. We will get to the end of it. We will get to the end of who actually brought it to that vicinity. That's one process. The other process is, okay, we've taken you to the hospital. We want to not just clean it from your system, but we want to educate you to the level that you know that you don't need to take it again. And in the process, you become somebody that's going to speak to other students, that's going to enlighten, that's going to talk to other students on why you think it should not be done.
Well, I like this bill to some extent. So we have people who, when they are driving or they are in a particular place, are suspected to be, drug users. And there's no quick test that, So is there going to be like a test kit that, will be immediately carried around to test maybe the drink or the whatever?
Fertilizers, bottles for alcohol.
You see, this is the first motion. 2-3 other motions I'm working on.
Okay.
Even the car parks. When you walk into a car park today, you want to travel, you see all these monster drinks and everything, all these drugs goes on there. And we don't care. We just walk into the bus, sit down there, even knowing fully well that this guy that's going to take me from Lagos to Ijebu, but the guy is taking alcohol right in my presence. We need all these, we want to start working on. So that we want a process whereby when you walk into a car park and you think there's something funny, there's a number you can call. There's somebody you can call.
Okay.
We need to clear this system, and if we don't clear the system now, it's a time bomb.
All right, let me take this call.
Explode.
Adekule from Ikorodu, thanks for calling.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, we're live.
Yeah. I think the Nigerian as we speak today, in respect of whoever they must have tested and confirmed their drug problem or whatever, I do not think it is a form of I will take them to the hospital. Like Constitution said, how many death rates we have to cater for all these people? 1. 2, the parents who is aware of their children's inactive or misbehavior since all this while, they need to help the children as well. And lastly, the issue of when you are caught, the big people that are doing this thing, like what they said, you have a permanent penalty, because you are killing somebody. These two are killing somebody for them to make a living. The way Malaysia, Indonesia are doing, I think if we start from there, it may not be everybody, but if it comes to a time when everybody will see it that way, I think it's better for us. And
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much, Adekule.
Yeah. So, sir, I think I understand now exactly what this motion is about. It's because drug use and abuse is such a massive problem. We're digging deep. But I think you're just trying to say, at schools, let there be provision for random testing. And if we do that, at least it will send a fear to students who are about to come to school that we're about to resume. Don't be caught. Or if you are the sort of person that normally deals drugs within schools, you realize, I dare not continue to do this because there's a likelihood of being caught. But I would like to find out if down the line you talk with NDLA, because I'm wondering who's going to handle these test kits? Who's going to do the testing? And who else is equipped to be able to read the test results? Are you going to get doctors or is it nurses or lab techs to work with you?
And if you look at the NDLA Act, it doesn't ask them to do testing.
Okay.
For them, it doesn't. But as a Ministry of Education, the welfare of that student is in your care.
Okay.
And this is where the next question that is coming on is about parenting. But we have so many parents that will say, you can't test my kids. I've had few people call me to say, no, it's violation of their human rights.
So who would test them, please, first? Is it the teachers?
The Ministry of Education and Health.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll come to the schools and
Yes.
Okay, I get that.
Ministry of Education and Health.
We have it will be similar to like the way they do immunization, where because the law backs you to go into the school to check.
Let me take this call from Ifabi. Good morning, Ifabi. You're live.
Hello. Good morning, Honorable and the handlers of the program. Please, my question is, the NAFDAC Director General came to National Assembly. I must confess I did not like the way the woman and the Honorable Minister of State were humiliated concerning this issue and the way they treated with levity concerning all those psychiatric dreams. They start from there. And by the time your attitude determines your attitude in life, the attitude will prevail. It's also questionable. Please, let us address all these issues so that we can get through the big problem.
Right. I didn't get that.
So he was talking about the, mopping up of sachet alcohol drinks. The NAFDAC was spearheading the enforcement, and they were at an event where they were addressing, and the Minister for State herself, as well as the DG of NAFDAC, were addressing it, and they were embarrassed by the people. Man, and there's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and some, I think it's CUC, have been against it, saying to push people out of business. But they took the fight to the production, and so they are being attacked for...
All right, let me go to, because I know that you're here, and as I said, we don't always have honorables. Whenever you come like this, there's an opportunity to ask a few more questions. We are aware that all our, at least House of Representatives, were giving some sums of money, 100 million, for palliatives, during this hard season. And we know you've probably, hopefully, in receipt of your own allocation. So far, what are you doing with it, and how are you planning to help?
Well, I think we need to correct that impression. No member of the House of Reps was given 100 million.
Okay, very good.
No member.
Thank you
We're giving something.
How about anything?
We're not giving anything.
Okay.
What the instruction from the presidency was that palliative will be given to every constituency.
Okay.
And from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, contractors were given that contract to go and provide it.
Okay.
I've done mine. The contractor came to me and said, look, I've been asked to produce social rice.
Okay.
The contractor did everything, but he did everything. Mine was just to be there for the distribution.
Oh, fantastic.
So I was not given a penny. I didn't get a penny from anybody.
Okay.
And I can tell you for free, no member of the House of Reps was given any 100 million. But from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, contractors were given this contract to go and do it. And everybody keeps talking about 100 million. Let's face it. By the time they remove money for the ministry, the tax and everything, it comes down to about 50, 60 million. Because everybody keeps talking about 100 million. I know what 100 million is. I'm a member of the House, and for me, I know as a matter of fact, I'm saying it on national tele. I wasn't given any 100 million. I was given 100 kobo. That's number one. Number two, the contractor, on the 10th of February, I still have the video and I can send you the pictures. On the 10th of February, if you come to my constituency, I even included my money because the contractor was asked to distribute rice. But I said, no, I'm not going to do rice alone. So I used my money to buy some other stuff, gari, semo, and some other things, add it to the rice, and it was distributed for over 1,000 people on the 10th of February in my constituency. But no member of the House of Reps, as far as I know, was given a penny. Contractors were awarded this contract to go and do it in every constituency.
So you are happy with what the contractor did?
Unless you're not in the inner circle where they're sharing the money. There's some circle and some inner circle.
There is no circle.
There's a question on YouTube for you, sir. It says, Mina Tipi, she says, Honorable, drug testing is not the way to clear the system. What about the kids that are not in school?
Well,
This drug problem is...
there's always a process. I agree totally because in my findings, I realized that we have artisans, mechanic carpenters, very close to schools that are being initiated into cults, initiated into drugs. Yeah. I agree totally. But it's a process. Like I said to you, we're doing this, we're going to the car parks, we're going to do that very soon. There is a motion on car parks. We're going to, it's a process. We must start from somewhere.
Okay, all right. So what are you going to say?
Yes, so I'm going to go back into general what happens in the National Assembly, those kind of things. And there are a few things that Nigerians are concerned about. We're concerned about how the National Assembly seems to be handicapped in speaking up for the people or fighting for the people regarding how the government policy is going. It seems like when we talk to people in the National Assemblies, we're hearing lamentation that Nigerians are also lamenting. In terms of checks and balance, I've been told that we're over-expecting from the National Assembly. Isn't National Assembly equipped to be able to call a minister to book concerning you're being effective, you're not being effective, and how powerful is the National Assembly?
Well, there are three arms of government, and the National Assembly or the legislator is an arm that's meant to make laws, and more importantly, we have oversight function of the law. So anything we can make law on, we can ask questions. And I became a member about 8 months ago, and in that 8 months, I think we're doing a wonderful job.
Congratulations.
I'm not saying there's no room for improvement, but even for me, I've been a lawmaker in the Lagos State for years, and getting to the National Assembly, I realized that it's a new ball game, and there is nobody. When we called the service chiefs the first time and they didn't come, we stood our ground and said, you must come to explain to Nigerians, and they came the next time. There is nobody, even at committee levels. Yesterday, the committee invited somebody and the person didn't come. As of yesterday, the committee has written to the speaker, get this person arrested. We don't care who you are. Nobody's above the law. What is important is for us to get to the nitty-gritty of it, get the facts. There are so many petitions we receive on a daily basis, and we find out that they are frivolous.
But to add to Tokwe's question is, I think she's not lamole the way that's lamole. She's probably worried about the Minister of Power.
Yes.
The whole of Nigeria. We are all asking, where is Adela? But I know he has given a press conference in the last 2 weeks, in fairness to him. But because the press conference also is shrouded in a lot of grammar. I mean, we understand the issues. The issues of transmission, the issues of generating, but others, the average Nigerians don't get it. Why can't we just pay Gencos and transmit and get the power? So it's still very far-fetched to the average Nigerian. So as a lawmaker that created the laws around NEC and all the other organizations, parastatals working to support the ministry, what are you doing? Or what do you think you can do in addition to what you've already done so far to get us to have power, to force the executive to make Nigerians get power?
One of the first things I did when I became a member was this issue of electricity. And I realized that in the course of the Gencos and the rest, some contract has been signed that we can't just walk out of now as a country. Unless our fine will be so enormous that I'm sure we need to borrow money to pay the fine. So if that is the process, we need to start working on how can we work with them. On the issue of the minister, I want to leave that for now. But how can Nigerians benefit from this government? What can we do to make sure that electricity, in the last few days, electricity has been terrible.
Days? You want to try months?
Months.
But in working with them, because at times, it's not every time you need to fight. There are times you need to work with them. What can be done? What is the problem? Where can we come in? Is there anything that is stopping you from providing this process or this light? So at times, people will say, oh, they are rubber stamp, they are this. But there are times we need to put down our gloves and say...
Honorable, there's a particular bill we would like you to push. It's a bill that everybody in Nigeria, the way we will hail you for that bill, a bill that says that once you enter National Assembly, all your children should attend public schools, all your medical bills, all your medical treatment should be done in Nigeria. Those kind of bill, when you do that kind of bill, the entire country will just shut down.
In fact,
the name on everybody's lips will be Honorable Moshood Oshun. Because you have done a bill that will make Nigerian representatives feel the reality of what Nigerians are going through?
Okay. You see, as politicians, there are times we know this is the truth and we are scared because by the time you finish, when they handle you on social media, you're dead. But let's be honest with ourselves. I'm going to take this risk. The fact that I'm a politician does not mean that I don't have a family and I don't have a family life. And I'll use myself as an example.
Okay.
When I started my family, I was living abroad. I was living in London.
Okay.
And I started my family in London. I had my kids in London. For me personally, because of my belief in this country, when my kids finished their primary school, I brought them to Nigeria for secondary school. Okay. After the secondary school, they went back. Now, you can't tell me that because I'm an honorary member, I must bring them back. I didn't take them out when I became an honorary member. We need to differentiate this. If after being elected, and I'll say, oh, my kids are not good for this country, let's them go to London, it's different.
It's a different matter.
But mine started somewhere.
And your medical records are in London, so if you are sick,
everything about them is there.
No, talk about you. So if you
no, mine is there. Mine is there.
You go to
I use lawsuit.
Okay.
Go to lawsuit, you have my record there. I was there 2 weeks ago to go and do my test.
Everywhere now.
Go to lawsuit. I did my full test. I do my test every year.
Honorable,
and the one I did in 2 weeks ago, I was in lawsuit for a whole day. I'm not even going to say I'm an honorable member. I followed the process, paid what I should pay.
Just as our constitution makes it wrong for a person with dual citizenship to run, it can also be extended to those who don't live here. You know why this divided interest is why we're here. It's personal to me. We have this taste, this love for, for everything outside.
Foreign. And
we have the alternatives there. And it's not making us focus fully to grow here. It's a menace for as far as I'm concerned. And I would like you to see it from that seriousness. Yes, some of you live there. You will have a video recently of a Nigerian who went to bake his hair and bailed out on the lady without paying. And everybody in the comment section, he has a Yoruba name. Oh my God. Saying, Abego, he's a British. He's not here, So this divideness is really what's the about the low cost in any cost in the...
It's not about the cost. You see, I agree with Tope that if, for example, there was a video that went viral about, I think, Ghanaian Minister for Education that was being questioned. I don't know if you saw it. And they asked, where's your children? Is in America, is in this. And this guy said, okay, you are the one making law in charge of education for us. But you think the education here is not good enough for you.
You're not even willing to test it.
That as it may. For me, like I said, when my kids finish their primary school, I brought them here. My son is in law school here. I can ask him to go to law school and do...
He is law school here. That one is not debated.
So you are saying maintaining the lifestyle, but what about the cases? We've seen situations where it happens now, that once somebody just gets into, becomes a local government chairman and they change their car, their children move abroad, and there's a massive lifestyle change.
Yes.
So you can say that you were making more money in the private sector, because I've asked you before, but there are many, that's not the same prevalence.
Yeah, but because she has also responded to that, let me just ask this. I just want to know personally, if you think if we had a bill like that, that will be enforced, that asked our representatives to go to hospitals here and educate their children here, do you think it will make a difference?
Definitely.
You agree?
Definitely. I agree totally. And I think we're getting to that process now. Nigerians are not sleeping anymore. And if you look at the last election, it will tell you. Beavers. And that's why we're changing the electoral law in the Assembly. We want election to work in Nigeria. 80% of our elections end in court. We want that to stop.
Election is once in 4 years. Governance is
every day.
It's the election that will lead to governance.
We need people...
It's the people you elect that will govern for 4 years.
At the risk of knowledge, we need people who love this place so much.
Look, everybody
they don't have that.
Bring back their children.
Yes.
Not just, yes.
Because if you are willing to make the...
If you can test it, see the governor of Anambra, former governor of Anambra, at the moment he was swearing in fact, not swearing his successor, he was one leg at the airport.
At the airport, yeah. That's
we can't continue like that. And look at the state of Anambra until this new governor came in.
Yeah.
The feedback was not good, but he had a life outside the
Outside.
And some of your members too are not even
It's like
going
a
to their
father that is not at
constituency as
home.
So
often
what you are
as
saying, because you have to wrap up very soon, is that once I'm entering government, family members,
My
who I know you're in
It's
London,
all.
oh yeah,
You cannot take
everybody
the risk.
come back home,
Yes.
come back and finish your school here.
or at
Yes.
least each member.
Let's not be-
Let's even leave family.
No, family is
Let
important.
Each member use hospitals here and not abroad.
No.
Once you get into
But
power.
it's a conversation for another day. We
Yeah.
have to wrap up very soon. But
Thank
there's-
you, Honorable
Your
Kobe.
phone has been ringing all day, but I can't let you go without asking this final question. What to eat today?
Not to win here.
Moto Yeni, that one. That's our
I don't know
car.
which
That's the one that you
I
need.
don't
That's
know.
car that
travel
was,
your
that was,
constituency.
that you need to go, used to go and
Because the roads are bad.
The roads are bad.
You see-
that big car, is that right?
You see, until we begin to investigate the truth.
Okay.
And I want to appeal to journalists.
We are-
I want to
Please
appeal,
tell
I
us.
want to
So
appeal
there's a
to-
different story to that.
I want to appeal to you to, when you hear any story, investigate it.
Okay, we're asked.
Because there's no point in rumor out there. When I joined before I joined the National Assembly,
You had
I
your
was told, oh, there's this, their salary is
billion a month.
13,000, their salary is 15 billion, they hand this, they hand that. And don't get to the National Assembly, I was like, excuse me, maybe I should have stayed in Lagos. That's the truth, honestly. Maybe I should have stayed in Lagos.
Because
because-
more juicy.
Not juicy, but
Yeah, he's
when I
work.
was a member of that state assembly, I have a constituency. My local government was divided into two.
Yeah.
My local government was divided into two.
Yeah.
So that means I only take care of half of the local government.
Yeah.
Now you expect me to take care of the
Entire-
whole local government, and I can tell you for free, my salary in the House Assembly is bigger than my salary in the National Assembly.
Only Lagos that.
Hold on. Well, nobody cares. My constituency doesn't care. They don't
Exactly,
care.
they don't know.
They don't know. For them, Honorable Oshun
Yeah, I've gone to
used to
bigger
do this
office.
when he was in state assembly. He must double it. They don't care.
Right.
So basically, it's easy for us to come out here. Look, not to tell you so.
Yes.
If you want to talk about car, the official car. I have not collected an official car.
Okay.
I have not collected.
will you
But I know there will be official car.
Okay.
Eventually.
And the Avenger. But these cars is not in my name. It belongs to the National Assembly.
Okay.
You did drop it off at the end.
And I don't want to refer to an issue in Lagos State. If at the end of the term, at the end of your 4 years, is the decision of the National Assembly to either sell or not. They can choose not to sell. We've seen cases where they didn't sell.
Okay.
And you don't have a choice, you must drop it.
So it's not really your car.
So it's not your car, it's an official car that if the Assembly decides that they are not selling, they won't sell and nothing will happen.
Why didn't you collect the one from the last person?
Sorry?
Why didn't you collect the car from the...
The previous person, he dropped his car.
He dropped his car. He didn't drop the car.
The last person that I replaced,
Yes.
I don't know what happened to the car.
We need to know these things.
All right.
I
let's
don't know.
But thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on the show. That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you.